The October 8th is called to order. Roll call.
Mrs. Shepherd?
Here.
Mrs. Dineno?
Here.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Holton?
Here.
Mrs. Burdick?
Here.
Ms. Redding?
Here.
And Chairman Yem.
Here. Okay, approval of minutes for the September 10th meeting.
I so move. I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, the next thing, citizen input. And Mr. Craig Callan will be, I guess, coming shortly. And Mr. Thompson, if you want to.
This thing on?
Yeah, you have to give your name and address.
My name is John Thompson. I reside at 305 Live Oak Drive, Vero Beach, 32963. I came here today to discuss the Friday night dance at the community center. As most of you all know, at least I hope most of you know, that's been a really popular venue for sort of the I don't want to say the adult community, but the older community of this city and this county, and it's been really popular. My wife and I have been going to this dance for probably 6 or 7 years, and it's been really well attended. I can't thank the rec department enough for what they do to support that dance. It's been really, really good. We do have a concern, and our concern is a few weeks ago we were informed that the two gentlemen that run that dance, Ray Duryea and his partner Eddie Bowie, are going to be retiring, and we weren't privy, or at least the dance community wasn't privy to what transpired there, but we understand that someone else has been assigned to that task of managing that dance. This is where the issue lies for us because we have some questions. First of all, we really want to be able to maintain the format of that dance because that's really what makes that dance popular. And I don't want to sound sexist in this, but we have a large community of single adult ladies that come to that dance, that come to the community center because they are at least able to dance a few dances with either the professionals that come or the hosts. So it's a big deal for them. And that's kind of who I'm speaking for at this point. There's a lot of dances in the county that partners and pairs can go to. The Polish American Club is one of those. But the community center offers a very, very special venue for a pretty good population of people. And I just want to be able to ensure that the format's going to be the same. We would like to see at least the process that was put in play to replace Ray. We'd like to better understand what the criteria was when that selection was made. It's our understanding, and again, we haven't been told formally, we haven't been addressed, at least that dance has not been addressed by the rec department, but we've been told that that the folks that are going to be taking this over, they are not dance people. They're not dance professionals, they are not dance people. And that's a bit concerning to the community, because this is such a very, very popular venue. So, my question to the rec department is, what criteria was used to make this decision? Why was the decision not done, say, for instance, in as a request for proposal, or submit a request out there to the dance professional community so that you would have other people come in and give you a proposal about how we're going to run this? I think it's not a big revenue generator. I understand that. At most we might get, 150 to 200 people there. But it does serve a major purpose in this county. And it's very, very popular, especially for the adult community. The older adult community. We have one lady attends. She's 93 years old. We've got a lot of really solid folks who come there every week and support it. So those are my questions. Those are a little bit of my concerns. I just wanted to make sure that it got voiced, and so I appreciate the time.
All right. You want to start? Go ahead.
You might want to stay. I have a few answers for you. We, or Lori actually did, when Ray came to us and said that he was going to retire, she did some research and she found a great replacement. They're actually going to be training with Ray in November and December. The format will not change. They're going to use the same decorations, the same music, everything. Lori can tell you a little bit more about them, but I know she has come up with a great replacement for Ray. She's also been talking to the Tessiers from 14th Avenue Dance Studio, and we're trying to incorporate them as well somehow. So we feel we did our best to get a quality replacement for you, for everybody.
So can you sort of describe how that process happened? I mean, was it just sort of somebody said, oh, yeah, let's get these folks, or did you actually solicit for folks and get a number of in and then you select it?
Well, we haven't ever done an RFP for a city program.
I mean, this is a revenue generator. That's why I'm asking that.
I think Lori can probably answer that a little bit better if you want to come on up. As far as how she came up with the selection.
Okay.
I know she knows them.
Here, you can take this place.
As far as the selection goes, I'm sorry. I'm Lori Lee, Community Center Coordinator with the City of Vero Beach Recreation Department. And I'm in charge of programs that go on at the community center. And I do go to Rob and Patty. And we sat down when we found out that Ray was going to retire, it was big for us because this has been a program that's been going on it started small. It was at Bethel Creek, and until the community center opened up to be able to move it over to the community center and have a larger dance floor for people than what the Bethel Creek House offers. And the program has grown, and Ray's done a great job, and he's been an incredible part of our program. Sorry to see him go, but things do change, and we're just terribly sorry about that. But we are going to keep the music the exact same that Ray has offered. I'm working with him doing playlists and things like that so that your music won't change. Your format of that won't change. The people are going to change. And it's Jim and Donna Mitchell. They're known in this community. They dance. No, they are not professional ballroom dancers. But they do dance, they perform, they sing, they're known for their entertainment. And this is a dance for people to come and have fun and enjoy. And that's the atmosphere that we want to continue. And they're very happy to come up and dance with different people. And, like I said, we're still working with other dancers to see if we can get them to continue to come, because I know Ray has people in the community that do come to the dance and dance with other people, and we want that to continue. So does that help?
Well, I mean, again, I think you have to look at what made the...
Sure. We'll trade.
I don't want to sort of, there's so many things going on in this country today. This is a very, very small thing, and I don't want to make it a big thing. I just want to make sure that, again, because I have I participate in a lot of dances in the community, and I participate with a lot of the studios, and I also talk to a lot of the folks that dance. And one of the messages that came across loud and clear over the last week or so from the ladies that I talked to, the single ladies, is that they are concerned because the format that made the community center dance successful, I realize change is inevitable. But I think we've got to take a real hard look at what made that dance successful, what got those ladies up on the floor to dance, and make sure that is the marching orders, whoever takes this opportunity over, because it is a revenue generator for them. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're kind of working for us. And I think they've got to get the marching orders that says, look, we've got to look at the details of what made Ray successful and follow those guidelines. Otherwise, what's going to happen is it'll go down and down and down, because single ladies aren't going to come to the dance. They're just not going to come because they're going to feel left out. And I don't want that to happen. So that's really my only question there. But I appreciate your time, and I certainly appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll do our best.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Collin, you ready? Sure. Well, I guess, does anybody have any questions? Lori?
I just have a comment that when you make changes that you incorporate input from the participants so people know what's going on and there's not confusion if somebody's retiring or I don't know if you made an announcement or not. Oh, okay. And just ask them what they'd like rather than just making a change without getting input.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Dick. How are you? Thanks for inviting me. I'm here to give you a brief overview. I've got to tell you, I'm going to wing it a little bit today. I've been busy at historic Dodger Town. Last couple of days have been with our new Vice President, Brady Ballard, who is actually at a chamber meeting right now. Otherwise, he'd be with me. And he has been added, started yesterday, to our staff so that we can continue to advance and take larger steps in our growth that we've been successful in doing up to this point. His expertise is in marketing, sales, sponsorships, etc., and that's an area that the existing staff, including myself, is not the best at. So we're like a baseball team. We knew we needed one more player on the team. We've got a great lineup, but we found that one person that we think is going to complete the team. So I've been spending the day with him. We actually went over and saw Penny Chandler, because he'll be involved with the chamber, Joe Baird, Mike Zito. We stopped off and saw Mark Schumann, and we're on tomorrow, I think we see the Treasure Coast Sports Commission, Rich Nalbandian and Tom, his boss. So we're moving forward, and that's what's been keeping us busy. Since the last time I was here, I think we were still Vero Beach Sports Village. And Peter O'Malley, who is now 100% managing partner of Vero Town LLC, which is the corporation that's Peter, his sister, Hideo Nomo, Japanese pitcher, friends with Peter, and Chan-Ho Park, Korean pitcher. The minor league baseball has exited, so it's just being picked up by Peter. Peter was able to go ahead and get working for the last year and a half with the Dodgers, the new ownership of the Dodgers, with Major League Baseball, with Major League Baseball Advanced Media to finally be able to use the name Dodger Town again. As we all know here in Vero Beach, Dodger Town is Dodger Town. There is no other Dodger Town. But since it's owned by the Major League team, the LA Dodgers, and also the rights to the name is Major League Baseball, we were not able to use it in the past. But with Peter's reputation and with new ownership with the Dodgers, the Guggenheim Group out of New York, they were able to realize that it's a shame that our facility isn't back to what it was named since 1948. So we are now historic Dodger Town to keep us separate from Dodgers or our brand of Dodger Town was so successful because of all the years in Vero Beach that the Dodgers have used it on other facilities. Chattanooga, our AA team, it says, "Welcome to Dodger Town," so even though their name is the Lookouts. Dodger Stadium has signs that say, "Welcome to Dodger Town." So it's kind of a compliment to the brand, but we were now able to get that back. So that's one of the things that Peter has been working most of his time on trying, and when you deal with Major League Baseball and the Major League team, it's very litigious. So he was the only one that could get the brand back because his family is the one who made the brand, as Dick knows and other people here. So that's one of the steps we have. We're moving forward. This is our slow period of year. We had a fantastic spring training. Our spring training for next year, which is high school, college teams coming in, is ahead of plan. So we're very optimistic about mid-February all the way through the end of April, where we will be booking up probably every hotel room in the community. We came pretty close to that last year, and we're very pleased with all of our partners that we have now. We've worked with the Spring Hill Suites, the Comfort Inn, the Holiday Inns, etc. All of those have a good relationship with us now, and it benefits us because we can program and facilitate all of the games. At the same time, it benefits the hotels because they can fill rooms not only in season, but more importantly, off season. For instance, this weekend we have the USSSA tournament here where normally hotel rooms are sitting there just eating away at the electric bills empty. So one of the benefits that we think with our model is that we're starting to fill those off-season rooms where there was zero revenue and getting hotels to be able to generate more revenues. And I say hotels, but when you go in a hotel, you have to eat at the restaurants, you go to the mall, you get your gas, etc. Because we only have 88 rooms at Dodger Town. So when we book 54 teams in here, that takes up about 10 teams, and the rest go out into the community. So we're working on that. Our areas of growth are definitely in our new Cloverleaf, where we have girls softball, women's softball, all the way through Division I college teams, and youth baseball from T-ball all the way up for different tournaments. So we're seeing, it's been a year now since we built those fields, and those fields we're starting to program them more now. In our industry, it's all word of mouth. You can have the best video and the best glossy program in the world, but if one coach doesn't tell the other coach, hey, you got to go there, it's a great place, it's a great community, you can go 5 miles or 4.5 miles to the beach, it's a great package. So the word is, it's a multiplier factor where you'll have 4 teams this year, 8 next year, 16, 36, and then I'm not going to tell you if I can count higher than 36, but actually it's 72, 144. So we're growing. Our football field, our lacrosse field, our what we call our multi-purpose field that we built at the same time, that's been programmed. We've had soccer teams, soccer tournaments, soccer, clinics. We've had the University of South Florida trained with us. Yay, they won last week, so they're 1-4. But I spoke to the team just the day before they beat Cincinnati, and they're gung-ho about Vero Beach and Dodger Town and look forward to coming back again next year. It's a rebuilding time for them. And we're working on international soccer. Groups, Jeff Biddle, our director of sales and group sales with all the professional teams, has made some contacts with a lot of the soccer coaches associations. So we think in another year that's going to blossom too. So all of those areas are growing. We Lost a lot of money in the last 4 years. We've cut our losses in half the last 4 years. We hope to break even this year, and I think that's what was our plan last year, and we lost a little. But we see the growth, and with growth comes the revenue increase and the profit margin. So as we grow, so will all the business that flows out into the community. Trying to think what else. We're renovating with our new 5-year contract with the county. Part of the agreement was to finish the renovations of some of the sleeping rooms we have. The sleeping rooms, 88, are nice, quaint, okay sleeping rooms, great for a sports facility, but the bathrooms were 1970s, a little bit worn out. And we've agreed that in fact, the open bid is this Friday to renovate the remaining 60-some-odd rooms. So that will actually be better for not so much the kids that come in, the youth, but for the professional teams who say, ooh, your bathrooms and your closets are not as big as we like them. So that's a $600,000 expenditure that we're putting into the facility along with the other capitals. Community work. We continue to reach out. We're working with, of course, all different organizations. We just agreed to work with the Homeless Association for their fundraiser, where they'll basically be a little Dodger Town at Orchid Isle. We're letting them use all of our equipment and props and things like that to make it a baseball theme. We do not have Jake Owen this year because of scheduling conflicts, but should have him, if his schedule allows, at Holman Stadium again, probably in April or somewhere around there. So it's just a couple months off from his regular schedule. I'll open it up to questions, but we're just tickle pink where we are with the name change, with the staffing, with the growth, and with our relationships that we have. We're kind of on a high right now and really energized to continue to grow. Any questions, please?
Can I ask you, where do you find what your activities are at Dodgertown?
I'm sorry, could you?
I mean, like when my grandkids come in, how would I find out what is going on at Dodgertown?
That's a popular question, and we have a website that was VeroBeachSportsVillage.com until a couple of weeks ago. Now it's HistoricDodgertown.com, and it's completely has all of our programs. We also, for every single function that we do, even if it's 3 people playing catch, we put out a press release, but we can't force the newspapers to carry it. But press releases go out to, I think, our contact list now is in the hundreds. So, boom, we hit a press release. We explain who's coming, what time, what type of activities, and then some background on the facility. But that's an area where I think our new employee is going to help because it's just another person that can go out there and reach out and spend some time hoping to get more coverage. But it's out there. It's just it's a matter of, like, for instance, Mark Schumann always has something in his publications or his blogs or whatever. The Press Journal has done an increased coverage of us, but still not covering everything that we do, and that's where a lot of people see it. But our internet has all that information on it, and that's, once again, it's HistoricDodgertown.com.
I had a question. You're talking about community outreach. Immediately what flies into my mind is Little League, because they've been struggling, just trying to raise enough money to pay their electric bill. I mean, have you reached out to them at all?
Well, we have reached out. In fact, at the beginning of the season, I'm not sure if it was the American or the National League, reached out to us and said, we've got all these teams and we're about ready to start the season. We don't have enough fields to practice on. And what we did on our new fields, we said, here, take our 4 new clover leafs and use them for a week and a half, our lights, our field maintenance, and have all your teams run through there and get their preseason practice. I can't, it's not as easy to say, hey, come out and use this all the time, because we also have a business model, and we can't guarantee that, for instance, if Little League came to us and said, we want to do all our Little League games out there, can't happen. Otherwise, we'll be out of business when we program in girls softball or things like that. But I think we've done an excellent job working with the people that have contacted us as far as spot use or helping them out. I mean, I've talked to them about doing fundraisers at Dodgertown, but as far as continual use and becoming, like, let's say, a city field or county field, we couldn't do that because that adversely affects our business.
Sure, I know. I was thinking more along the lines of fundraising, let them pay their electric bill so that they can use the fields that are available to them.
If it doesn't conflict with a paying customer coming in, and quite frankly, our business is not at that level yet. If it was prearranged, in fact, we have an agreement in our contract that states any not-for-profit that wants to utilize the facility for a community event can apply, and we've never said no. That's like every dream has a price. There's the official, okay, you can do it, and then there's the unofficial, pick up the phone and say, Craig, I need 2 fields, can you make it happen? But we are definitely interested. That's like growing. My son has a little game now. He's playing. He's 4.5. Growing crops, and you gotta plant the seed if you want to get the crops. So Little League is the seed. So yeah, we want to do it, and happy to talk to people as long as they understand that at the same time we're not a not-for-profit, and we need to. Otherwise, we won't be there to help them.
I've got 2 questions for you.
Good day.
One is, you said off-season housing, right now you're able to get adequate accommodation. But what are you doing in season for housing?
In season, I'm not sure let me see if I'm answering this correctly. In season, it is so busy that we're already farming out rooms to hotels for in season. If you were to call up Spring Hill Suite, Jennifer Bates I think she has 3 hotels, all the way to Captain Hiram's. We have agreements with them, and the teams that we facilitate at Dodgertown, we're already pushing business out to them. So,
is that going to be an issue though, as we
grow? But then our facility will have to grow. We wore our fields out. If anybody came to Dodgertown in May, it looked awful. Because we played games, we programmed games, and this helped. This isn't a sales pitch, but once we fill up our 88 rooms, there's no big incentive for us to continue to bring teams in, except we're part of the community and in hotels, restaurants, etc. When we're doing 54 teams, and they're using every field from 8 in the morning till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, because we have lights on the fields. You wear out that. You can't even get on the fields to repair the turf. So we're repairing as this is the growing season, but we wear it out. But to your question, will there come a time? We're not there yet, and we're willing to wear ourselves out if it fills our rooms and fills rooms in the community.
Is there a possibility you might add rooms to your complex?
I doubt it. I never
golf course?
Never say never. We still have the city still has the 9-hole golf course adjacent to us. Quite frankly, you all, the county has been very good partners with us. You helped facilitate getting the new cloverleaf in. I think it would be greedy if all of a sudden I said, hey, we want more land. We don't need it right this moment. I mean, if that land was still there and we continue to grow and we continue to be that economic impact that we are, that would be a great use. But that's not a request at this time, because if the city has better use for it, we're part of the community. But
I think some people may not be aware that the city is a 10% owner.
Yeah, I think it's 16% or something like that.
It's 16%.
Okay. Yeah. It's when we first did the Dodger deal. I forget the exact amount, but it was a couple $100,000 that were put into, or maybe it was $1.2 million, but it was a percentage of what the total purchase price of the assets and the improvements that were made that were at Dodgertown.
Of the whole complex.
Of the whole complex. 70, right now it's 80 acres, 79, 80 acres. It was 65 back then.
So there is a vested interest.
Oh, yeah. And really the vested interest, if I were talking to an economic impact group, I would be saying it's the interest is that we're just churning out business to the community. We try not to, especially under Peter O'Malley, we try not to toot our own horn. You guys asked me to be here, and you're asking the questions, but that's the truth. We're just, we've done very well. In fact, I have somebody put this together, and I haven't even looked at it that closely yet, but in 2011, we had 14,934 total room nights booked. That's 4,000 at other hotels and 10,000 at Vero Beach Sports Village. Now what happens is in 2012, we had 19,000, 7,400 in hotels, and 11,968. So you see what we're doing is we're maxing out and everything is overflowing into the community. And so far in 2013, we're already at 8,000 room nights, 8,332 hotel room nights, with 13,000 at Vero Beach Sports Village. So the percentages are there that we're flowing out the business. And if you use a economic impact figure, this was Treasure Coast Sports Commission putting this together for me, based on guidelines established by Visit Florida and Florida Sports, the total so far has been a $34,888.56 or whatever economic impact over the years using their formula, not ours.
Since what, 2011 or?
That's starting 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. This year alone, 2010 it showed 55,400,000. 2011 showed 6,226. 2012 showed 9,400,000. And so far 2013, 13,800,000. So once again, all the graphs are going this way. What we're looking for is the graphs that show profit at Dodgertown to reach that point, because we started so low, we're right on the verge. But that's good information that the Treasure Coast Sports Commission gives us, because they help tally all the room nights, not only at Dodgertown, but also in all the hotels. Because they're good partners of ours. I'm not sure if that answers that long answer to a short question.
No, actually, my contention was when the Dodgers left was turning it to this type of use. The community actually would make more money, on the year-round basis.
I am very open to anyone who says, gee, this isn't a good use of the facility. I think we're for profit. We're working hard, but we also, especially under Peter O'Malley, his agreement with the county on a 5-year, because of the funding mechanism, states that he can't make money. How many people do you get that say, I'm going to enter into an agreement and I can lose money, which we've lost a lot of, but if there's any profits that are made, it gets pushed back into the facility for further enhancements. That, to me, is the perfect tenant, and that's what I have the privilege of working with. I think it's pretty cool.
I think the community is very fortunate that it worked out the way it has.
Well, we're fortunate. I've been there 35 years, been in Arizona and back and everything else, and there's no better place than Vero Beach and Indian River County. And what we've shown is a small town can do this. Can have a facility like historic Dodgertown and generate revenues like this that's clean. It's not pollution. It's all fun, and money for all the businesses in town.
Yeah, my last comment is that, one of the major obstacles we knew when you set this up would be transportation in and out, which is primarily, I guess, by bus. Yeah,
a lot of the teams, like the professional teams, like from Korea, we just they fly in Orlando, we bus them. But the great thing about Dodgertown and the community is you don't need to leave. So they bus them in, they stay in the community, they use everything, and then they rent buses to go back. With a lot of the high school teams, they all drive in. So I'm sure you've all have seen, like in the spring, there's buses all over the place. and that's probably 90% of it, if not higher, is the teams that are coming in from Canada, coming in from up north. That's our biggest. Canada is a big Canadian baseball is probably 10-15% of our baseball business. They love us.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one just on the west side of where you can actually drive into preferred parking at Holman Stadium. There's a little plaza. One of the buildings in there was Health South.
Yes.
Now what takes the place of Health South isn't there anymore, and there's a part of that plaza that's right there. What are they being used?
Well, if you look at that plaza, and when you pull right into Holman Stadium, when you go right on the right, you'll see 4 indoor batting cages. You turn right and you go into the plaza, and then there's our administration building, our Major League building that we built in 2001, just for the Major League staff and myself upstairs, and then downstairs is the clubhouse, weight room, training rooms, etc. That's when I built it. We built it for, we realized that major league teams only are in for a month or two, and then the facilities just sit dormant. So I built a special section on the tail end of it for special offices, and we made a deal with Health South to utilize it when we weren't. Well, Health South used it for rehab for about 3 or 4 years, and the economy went bad, and they didn't renew. Now we are not looking for someone active right now because our business model now is bringing in international teams like the SK Wyverns, Meiji University. We're looking to bring in some Japanese teams. And when they come in, they have to have the major league experience, which is that whole downstairs. So the weight room is part of it. I guess you could say you can stay on the interstate or you can stay on the beach. The beach costs more. Well, we charge more for the teams, and that's what they expect. They expect to come to a major league facility, so they use up that area. So my plan has been not to have a conflict where we use it for rehab and then a team comes in and says it's not for their use. So for now, it's there. We use it for storage, and possibly in the future, if someone makes a good enough offer, we could work something out.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Mr.
here for
Mr. Chairman, I only have a couple of things. Talking about the community activities, I think St. Helen's Church ranks up there as a major, working with Dodgertown as to an activity that impacts the entire community. But Craig, my question would be, when does the Dodger memorabilia come on display where people get to come in and actually see some of the artifacts?
We are working on that. That's one of our special projects, is to have in the future, have a museum. We've actually had some, because of Peter O'Malley's contacts, we had someone from the Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, come down, a curator, and take a look at some space. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than when Craig Callan thought, hey, let's put a museum in, and all of a sudden we found out about humidity control, we found out about all the extra security and things like that. So there are items that have been shipped already that are very, very nice, and when the museum gets finalized, it is going to be a really first-class, not quantity, but quality facility, because Peter doesn't do anything but first class. And we're staged for that, but I couldn't give you an exact date, except that, boy, we're moving on it. I don't know if that answers.
It does. It's going to be a major asset to the city of Vero Beach.
Yeah, and St. Helens, they've been our partners from when when I was young, which is a long time ago. When they actually had the Harvest Festival at St. Helens. Some of you might remember that. And we moved it over to Holman Stadium. We had it in the stadium for a few years until '88, and we found out that, when you had all those trucks on the outfield of a major league field, spring training had a few bumps and bad bounces. So that's when we moved it to the outside of the stadium, and it worked out perfect because that roadway becomes their midway. I think that's what it's called. Perfect. And when we built the Cloverleaf, we actually took into consideration that St. Helens, the Harvest Festival, which is a community event, has an area behind Holman Stadium where all the big rides are. So we actually tightened up our ball fields to make enough room, and it's actually an improved area for all the rides for St. Helens. So we were excited to be able to not only get what we needed for business, but also to accommodate something that we think is part of that is Vero Beach. When I walk down St. Helens, when that air gets nice and cool at night, and it's right around that time, right before Thanksgiving, it's like Mayberry, it's which is Vero Beach. So it's pretty cool.
It's already been set up that the Kiwanis Action Club that I've told you about many times, we're going to bring those with special needs. We'll be at the St. Helens Harvest Festival right there in Preferred Park.
Yes.
Right there at home. You can't beat that.
No, you can't.
It's perfect. You can cover the whole thing. The county is great, but it is so large, you just can't get everybody there. The way you've done it at Holman Stadium.
Yeah, and we have all the facilities because we have that stadium that doesn't get used as a stadium per se. We play a lot of games there, but not 8,000 people in the stands. So we have all the bathrooms, all of the concessions, all of that just already there. And I'm going to wear out I'm going to have you go into late night. But happy to answer any other questions. And once again, we're just pleased to be part of the community and happy to come here whenever you want me to blab on about Mayberry.
It won't take long. A couple of weeks ago, there was talk about with Peter O'Malley and you working on getting Dodgertown name back. The term came up to me, old Dodgertown. Mm-hmm. Has the word old gone, or you think it'll still be Dodgertown like it's been since?
No, it'll be historic Dodgertown because we couldn't just use Dodgertown. That was just part of the agreement that we had because it's tough to get the naming rights from the Major League team. But Historic Dodgertown is actually our new brand. We are still negotiating with two sign companies in town. And in fact, today I was supposed to get the last bid. Not cheap. We have 6 large signs because we have 79 acres and about 20 small signs that have to be redone. But that's a great. Just to be able to get them redone is good, but it's gonna take some of our money to rebrand again because we just rebranded the Vero Beach Sports Village a few years ago.
I'm glad you're dropping old.
Yes, yeah, it's historic. Internally it's Dodgertown, but when we're out marketing, everything is historic Dodgertown.
Well, thank you, Craig, for coming.
You're welcome.
I always look forward to it.
I'm happy to come back anytime.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, new business. Sunshine Law Review. You've waited very patiently.
No, not at all. Thank you so much for inviting me back again to chat with you all about the Sunshine Law. I think you probably know it as well as anyone. I think you could probably give this little lecture on Sunshine Law, but I heard that you have 2 new members now. Is that correct? Welcome to the commission. And thank you for helping out with the city of Vero Beach. I've given you all a lot of different items. I've got them up there at your chairs. And I think since you all pretty much know the Sunshine Law and the Public Records Law, I'm just going to chat about it a little bit and then see if you have any questions and just let you know that we're here from the city attorney's office if you need us. And, of course, Tammy's office, they are just so up to date on the Sunshine Law and Public Records Law, so you have a lot of good people here to help you if you need it. I just wanted to start out by saying that Florida may not be number 1 in a lot of good things like foreclosure rates and whatnot, but we truly are number 1 in open government law. We are the first in the nation. We probably have the toughest open government laws in the nation. We got our first public records law in 1909, our first Sunshine Open Government Law in 1967, and the first Sunshine Amendment, which is the ethics law, which is what I provided you with, in 1976. So it's interesting, back when I first started at the city of Vero Beach, Jay Smith was in charge of the planning department at that point. He was the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board. And he told me that it was prior to the Sunshine Law, and they would meet before the Planning and Zoning Board meetings over at the patio, and they would have lunch, and they would talk about the agenda, and then they would come over here and have 2 or 3 minute meetings and just whip right through it. So you can see how different it was then and how different it is now, and how important it is for citizens to be able to see what you cogitate on, what you think about in government in the open, so that they can understand how the decisions were made and not behind closed doors. The current State Attorney General, Pam Bondi, said, "In Florida, transparency is not up to the whim or grace of public officials. Instead, it is an enforceable right." And she's right about that. It's in the Constitution. It's in the state statutes. It's an enforceable right that citizens have to be heard and to attend meetings. Both the Government and the Sunshine Law and the Public Records Law are incorporated in the Government and the Sunshine Manual. That's available online. You can see I use mine a lot. It's a constant question that comes up here at the city. I know Lynn's contacted me several times about Sunshine Law questions, and if you all have any questions, give us a call. Over the years, I've distilled the Sunshine Law and the Public Records Law down to one short sentence each, and that's what I'm going to go over with you all. Look at the 2013 City Attorney briefing that I gave you, and check back about 5 or 6 pages back into it. Just take a look at this. I'm just going to read it to you. Florida Open Meetings Law, whether it is by Twitter, tweet, email, telephone, Facebook, instant messaging, or face-to-face conversation, any city business that may foreseeably come before your commission must be discussed by the members only at a noticed meeting open to the public where minutes are taken. So it sounds pretty easy, but you ask Ms. Falk or myself, there are a lot of wrinkles to the Sunshine Law and even more with the Public Records Law. Florida's Public Record Law, no matter how records are created from pen and pencil on paper to the most sophisticated computer technology, all documents made or received in connection with the official city business of your commission must be retained and preserved under the state retention schedule and are open for public inspection unless there is an exemption under state law. And there are many, many exemptions, too many to go into. The book is full of them. So if you have a question about those, give us a call. Also, the Guide to Florida Ethics, and there's a little bit in my handout on that too. This is the newest information from 2013. Every year the legislature tinkers a little bit with the rules, but these apply to you as commission members, as well as the city council, the advisory commission, and also the employees of the city as well. One other thing I just wanted to mention is, amidst all of the laws and requirements, don't forget the appearance of impropriety. Even though it may not be illegal, it might not pass the smell test. And I think you'll know it when you see it. But just to keep that in the back of your mind, the appearance of impropriety. One other thing I wanted to mention to you in the backup materials that I gave you on the second page is the City of Vero Beach website, covb.org. If you go to city departments and click on city attorney and go to the bottom of the page, you can find 2 PowerPoints, one by Pat Gleason of the Attorney General's office and one that I did a couple of years ago, and that'll give you more information. But I think with these handouts, with your general knowledge of the law, and with these PowerPoints, you should be in good stead with the Sunshine Law. And I also handed out a couple of little cards made by Carol Giroux in our office. The Public Records Law is on one side, Sunshine Law is on the other side, and just keep it with you. I think Tammy's going to talk to you a little bit.
I just wanted to discuss the alternate members for just a few minutes. Angie, you are one of our new alternate members, and Sue, you're alternate member for some time now. Alternate members are encouraged to come to all the meetings, are encouraged to take place in the discussion of the Recreation Commission. The only things with alternate members, you are sitting in the place of a full member if they're not present for the meeting. And unless you are sitting in for a member, an alternate member does not make motions and does not vote. And I just kind of wanted to make that clear. Not with this commission so much, but some of our other commissions were kind of having a little time with what the alternate members' duties were and what they were allowed to do. So I just wanted to kind of make that clear. And Peggy, did you want to talk about the new public meeting law for just a second? Or did you want me to?
Yeah, the legislature just this past year passed, and this seems amazing that they wouldn't have considered this before, but you used to have the right to attend a public meeting, but you didn't have the right to speak. Well, now you have the right to speak as well. So just remember that, Chairman Yim, when you're leading the meeting, to make sure that you give the folks in the audience a chance to speak on any proposition. That's the way the statute reads. Any proposition that comes before your commission. And proposition isn't defined, so it doesn't necessarily mean something that you're going to be voting on. It could be anything that you're discussing. And I know that most agendas have, you all have citizen input as number 3. But even if you have something further down the list, like you're going to be talking about the holiday parade, if there's someone in the audience, just say, does anyone want to come up and talk about this? And that should cover you under that new statute and that new ordinance.
Peggy, I have a question for you. In terms of limiting length of time for people's comments, is that something that can be done or is discouraged, or where
the new statute that I was just speaking of allows reasonable rules, and we do have these rules in our code of ordinances, 3 minutes. But the council that we've had in place for the last 2 sessions really has not used that 3-minute rule. And just kind of counts on people to be reasonable and keep their comments fairly short.
So we use what the council uses on this commission.
It's up to you. We do have that 3-minute rule on the books, but just your chairman will lead you in that direction. He has a pretty good sense of it from what I've seen. Anybody else have any questions?
Now's your chance.
One thing, too, about the alternates, Tammy mentioned that you can't vote and you can't make a motion, but you certainly can discuss. And I know that this commission values your input.
I think one thing you need to hit maybe a little bit on is communication between members.
Yeah, that's the Sunshine Law.
Yeah, I know, but
you cannot communicate between each other on matters that will foreseeably become before this commission for a vote. So, and remember the appearance of impropriety. It's just really better to be very careful in that regard. And I've also included in your backup materials a memo about memos. And I think that should be helpful as well. I've passed this out to you all before, but in case you haven't seen it, this is a good reminder. Just look through these materials and you can watch the PowerPoint presentations as well.
I think it doesn't mean as far as you cannot, I mean, you can communicate. You just can't talk about anything that would possibly come before, this group.
Right.
And
that includes email, Facebook. I know that, Craig Fletcher's gone right now, but at one point back in, 2003, 2004, Craig Fletcher was mayor before, and we were charging a new noise committee, the same way we've just talked today. And after we finished this whole thing, one of the committee members who was an airplane pilot, it was a female, and one of the other members on the committee was a doctor, a medical doctor, and she turned to him and said, well, we're just going to have to stay in touch by email because we're so busy. Mm-hmm. And we both, Craig and I, just looked at each other like, oh no, I don't think they quite got it. Mm-hmm. So it's not just face-to-face. It includes all the new technologies. And that's also true with the public records law. If you don't know how to save it, don't use it, because Tammy's in charge of saving all of those documents, and you need to give those documents to her for saving by the state retention plan. So just be careful. It's the law. I don't want any of you all to get into trouble.
And I think fair warning is because because we have incidents here in the city, and I think it was the State Ethics Commission that ends up coming after you.
No, we don't. That's why I gave you the new ethics rule. Take a look at these because these are binding on you. And it's not only public records law and sunshine law. There are a lot of other ethical rules that you need to at least know about.
Well, the experience is it can result in substantial fines as well as cost to defend yourself.
That's true.
So you just got to be careful about it. I mean, and that's why we go through. Yeah. Any questions? I mean, expanded it a little bit. But I just don't want to see anybody get in trouble. Okay. Next thing on the agenda. Thank you, Peggy. Yeah. The next thing on it is Riverside Tennis new fee schedule. Rob asked for us to table this to the next meeting. So, okay. Just so everybody understands.
Will that change its effectivity date?
Well, there is no effectivity date right now. I mean, we were shooting for January. And my understanding is if we can come in November.
It'll still be fine.
Yeah, we can still get it before council, to get it in, hopefully January, maybe February. But it's the intent is to get it in as soon as we can. All right, any other questions on that? Okay, old business, there is none. Recreation Directors Matters, Patty.
Halloween Parade, October 26th. Lineup starts at 9:30. It will be at the Heritage Center this year, not the Freshman Learning Center. It will travel north to the Community Center where the costume contest will be. And I'm sure Gabby has contacted all of you about judging and participating. If you'd like, just let us know. But we're plugging along.
And I guess I should say Rob's out of town. So
Rob's out of town. He'll be back Monday.
And he'll be back for the November meeting.
He'll be here. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Any questions for Patty? Put Patty on the spot. It's our chance. All right. Chairman's Matters. We covered a lot of ground today. So I have nothing. Members' Matters. Sue?
Oh, I don't know. Did you want to talk at all about the committees?
Next month we'll put it on.
Okay.
Plus we have to try to get out of here by 5. Judy?
I am going to judge. I've already contacted.
Bobby? Greg?
Thank you for putting off a month because our Finance Committee, we met just barely 2 weeks ago and we're going to move from finance and the tennis area. Leisure Square will be next on our list.
When's your next meeting?
I'll have to give Rob and set that up. I don't know if that's been set up, but that won't be until November. So we'll have to see when we can work that out.
Yeah, what kind of?
It should be in the next week or two, I believe.
Yeah, trying to move to get this tennis fee because we want to get that in place. So, Angie, say something.
I'm good.
I would like to say that I will not be here at the next meeting, so hopefully one of the alternates will be here to sit in.
They're going to put it on their schedule right now.
Always on the schedule.
All right. With no further ado, our next meeting is November 12th, and just move for adjournment.
I so move.
We're adjourned.